Just thinking about that day, it's terrible.
October 14th, 2014. He didn't bring his mom.
So I remember walking by 3rd Avenue and 52nd Street and reaching into my pocket and feeling an old receipt, and I had to really think about it, like, do I need this or can I throw this away? And I'm pretty sure I ended up just crumpling it up and throwing it over my shoulder. And that's when I continued to walk towards the park so I could, try to think of screenplay ideas.
So, just following his normal route that he takes every day. And that's when I saw the receipt on the ground. Picked it up, and I could smell his scent on the receipt. And also his name was on it. So I knew I was going the right way.
I got a phone call from Max, but I decided to decline it because once I start getting in that Vonnegut, Beethoven space, I'm all focused. No technology. I don't even think horny thoughts. I'm just thinking about those script ideas.
Yeah, so this is about where I picked up my phone and called him. I knew he wasn't going to answer. When he gets in that Vonnegut and Beethoven zone, he never answers his phone. But I left a voicemail. I said, Jack, your mug, you forgot your mug. But, there's no point.
It's where the story starts to take a turn for the worst. You noticed I couldn't read anymore. The words were too blurry. And I went for my coffee and I started drinking it and then realized I wasn't drinking any coffee. And I don't know if you know this, but I have type 2 diabetes, so I need to drink at least 8 to 12 cups of coffee a day just to keep my mind straight. Otherwise, I go into severe diabetic shock, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, not a cloud in the sky today. Not on that day. That day was chocked full of cumulus. Cumulus clouds for a guy who hasn't had coffee? It's like a full moon for a werewolf. So I knew I had to act fast. Ow! 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 When you're in a deep diabetic shock, which is obviously what was happening from lack of coffee, howling is the only thing you can do, and that's why I did it.
So I was on this pier where the hallucinations completely took over my body. I couldn't see Earth or whatever. I started to see some pretty weird shit. And if you've ever seen that show Grimm, it's on NBC Friday nights, you know that it gets stored in your spinal column and it just flashes back whenever you have a diabetic shock. So I started seeing scenes of that show, and it scared me because that show is one of the scariest shows that's ever been alive. And believe it or not, that wasn't even the worst part of my day, October 14th, 2014.
So there I am, I'm just howling at the clouds, and then I hear footsteps going from behind me. And I turn around, and it's Jack. And he responded to the howling.
And I look over, and there's a giant werewolf. And it's either fight or flight, and I chose fight. So I just beat the shit out of him. I hit him with the whip.
Feeling woozy, I'm bleeding, and I say, Jack, I got your coffee, it's me, Max.
And then all of a sudden he started turning back into Max. I'm like, oh shit, what have I done?
And I started howling, because that's what he responded to. It's the only thing.
But then he started howling again, and it turned into a werewolf. So I knew I had to kill him.
He just starts the Jesus out of me.
A few moves later, I did.
And then one kick landed just right, and I died. I know there's a lot of speculation about the afterlife, but I went to heaven. I can say it right here, right now. I was there, and it's just as cool as you'd think it would be.
And then I saw my coffee laying on the ground and I drank it. And all of a sudden, I heard a noise like this. And my eyes cleared up, my pupils undilated. And I saw what I did. I killed my best friend, Maxwell Jensen.
Yeah, I was in heaven. It was probably the greatest time of my life. Which technically, I guess I was dead, but you know, I don't know. It's kind of a gray area. It's everything you'd hope it would be. Hanging out with Jack Lemmon and Jimi Hendrix and Martin Luther King and Orson Welles and Mozart and just, I can't even, there's so many, just every dead person, I guess I should say that. They're all up there. And oh, what's that one guy? I can never remember his name, but he was there. So you got that to look forward to.
So I went over to him and I started giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And
Everything started looking shaky and weird, and then started getting further and further away, and then like the clouds started like dissipating, and I realized that piece of shit Jack Spangler was reviving me.
it was no use. He was still dead. So I slammed my hand on his chest and he woke up.
That stupid son of a bitch.
And he was saying all this stuff like he was in heaven and it was my fault that I brought him back to life. And then he slapped me. That was the last time we spoke. It's just tough. It's like you say you're a BFF. That doesn't mean anything, I guess. And I've been just pretty lonely. I've been trying some new friends, but they don't compare. They don't compare to Max. Max is great.